was caretaker here for a long time. Mr. Campbell, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. McCurry, Mrs.
Hello, how are you? Yes, good to see you.
Over here, Mrs. Kirsty Phillips,
Hello,
his
how
sister
are
and
you?
her
Yes.
husband.
Oh, yes, we've met before, yes. Hello there.
And Mrs.
Great.
O'Neill.
Hello, how are you?
Stephen.
Good to see you. Hello there, big man.
And
How you
over there
doing?
we've got
Good.
Brian Fitzpatrick, member of the Board of Governors, and Gavin
Here
and
we are.
Sarah.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Great.
Thank you. And the photographer's come all the way from home, and James wants to say a few words. He's the head boy.
Oh, good man.
Nature. I'd like to welcome you to St. Mary's on behalf of the pupils. I'd like to thank you, I'd also like to thank you for making the 25th anniversary very special.
Good man. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. Good man.
What else does he have to do now? What's he going to do
You've
now?
got to plant a tree or
Plant a tree,
bless a
yes.
tree. Okay, I'll put this on me here. Give this across the table here. With good respect. You did very well.
You did well.
It's very well.
Show us at the lot.
Looking lovely. You runs in Father from Holland there, did you? You practiced with him for a while, did you? Good man, good. Okay. You okay there?
Then okay, try one more. See, I'd like to have like foot off.
Oh my God. Okay, right.
Anxious to get in? No shy people at all.
Goodness great. 50 years time you'll have some fun laughing at these photographs for 50 years time. What? Okay. Okay.
Just bring there's relief just for going.
Okay.
Okay, once more.
Okay, no problem.
Once more.
Okay.
Lovely. Alright, got a nice big smile together. Okay.
Okay. There we are.
This is a different oak, Bishop. This is a red oak. I don't
red
know why,
oak.
because it looks green to me, but it's called a red oak.
Right. Oh, jarred. Good. Okay, there's that. We got. We're trying to stay out of it too.
Frank. Yes,
Take out one for Frank.
Too much for a Too much for a bouquet. Right.
Frank.
No, you're not. Let him mark
I can crack a bit not on top.
Over there. A few more again.
Okay.
Next big thing. Once more.
advantage of silver jubilees. That even the oldest past pupils can come back like to train their ages. Well, it's lovely to see many of you gathered here together. Earlier we had ceremony in which the young people joined in the planting of the oak tree in the school, following the name of the school itself, the name of the time. During this Mass, we ask God to bless the school itself, certainly to offer thanks for the past, but in a sense, an occasion like that must always be an opportunity for jumping off the springboard of an occasion like this, a jubilee, in the future. This evening, children, parents, teachers, guests, you've gathered around the altar to declare your love for Jesus and to give him your thanks. It's very welcome to you this evening. And let us be praying in this Mass that the presence of God will be everywhere around us. Prepare ourselves to celebrate this Mass. Let's call to mind the times we have taken to love Jesus. I confess. Make your love the foundation of our lives. May our love for you express itself in our eagerness to do good for others. Make our prayer through Christ our Lord. half a day's journey, you had to look for him, congregation, okay? So he came time, went back, Jerusalem, looking for him everywhere. 3 days later, he found him in the temple, sitting among the doctors, listening to them and asking them questions. We heard him respond to his intelligence, reply. They were overcome when he saw him. His mother said to him, "My child, why have you done this to us? See how worried your father and I have been looking for you. Why are you looking for me?" to your father. "Do you not know that I must be busy to my father's affairs?" They did not understand what he meant. He then went down with them and came to Nazareth and lived under their authority. Mother saw all these things in her heart, and these increased wisdom, stature, and favor of God. This is the gospel of the life. Always loved that gospel story. So much so that when he was finding Christian 11 years ago, I had to find out the whole of Scripture, one little phrase, which on my copy, my coat of arms, shows the phrase, "Nothing from that gospel story." Shows the motto, "Sapienza," that means that's community. These grew in wisdom, stature, favor of God. We were trying to find something that would express what the whole of a Christian Catholic school should be. We were trying to write a book on the history of any Catholic school, any Christian school. We were trying to find a title for that book. To do a lot of things. Put on that title there to increase wisdom, stature, favor of God. I'm going to ask you some questions. Don't panic. You're right answer. Not being hard question or anything like that. So relax. Whose favorite subject is art? Art. Right, hands on again. Music? Principle, that was close. But they were quick. They were quick. Mathematics. Like a 2 and a yuck. Nature stuff. Thought that would be bigger. Thought that might have been a wee bit bigger, just having seen the beauty of where your school is positioned and remember daily visitation. Marveling at the beauty of the site of that school. Right? Now, if you stop PE, who likes games? Right. The last time I was here, we watched an under-12 football game against Marys. One of the best put downs I've ever heard in my life. Because somebody went up to one man who was over enthusiastic with his language, went up to him and said, "Isn't that sitting hidden so out here, with you standing alongside him? Isn't that dreadful language used in front of a lady bishop?" It was gone. It was like a Latin, pop, the way he went. learning more about yourselves, about your body, science, about the world around you, stars, engines, computers, all those things that frighten me. They frighten me more when little primary children explain to me. That's another mark of confirmation. Confirmation ceremonies are always marked by the fact that parents got the camera out for the day. They don't know how to work it. And then the two baby brother goes up and says, "It goes this way, ma," and he brings about 6 feet. So science, I get nervous. You're learning more and more about God's Word, about yourselves and the people in it. Wisdom. Stature. Jesus got bigger, got stronger. Every time you're learning about your health, about care for your health, smoking, drinking, all that kind of thing, that's increasing in stature. Every time you're in your games, every time you learn to go on the stage, every time you've got the courage to go up and sing a solo like that. Yeah. That's all about being bigger, stronger, being in control of your body. Through stature. He increased in favour of men. He learned how to get on with people. You all have to do that. Maybe sometimes, they were very young, maybe that were just a little bit inclined to say, "That's my toy. Give me. Come on. As we grow older, we get a little more sense and we learn how to share things around and how to get on with people. We're doing that all the time. Especially in things like recreation, playground, the dining hall, canteen, all that. And he increased in favour of God. He talked to his Father in prayer. That's what we're doing here. That's what we do so often during the day. In morning prayers, in your religion class, in your assemblies, in your grace before meals, all of that. Then we come to a school mass, or occasion like that, we come to practice mass. All of them. They're all about Jesus. Sure, that is what a good school should be all about. That's what we've had 25 years of in your school. So, that's what we pray in this evening's Mass. We pray that all of that strengthening, growth. Gee, the thing is, when you have the 75th anniversary of the school, well, some of the past pupils are a bit afraid, worn out, a bit like the old bishop. But you see, as I said earlier, 25 is great because all the past pupils are. Time will come. Time will come. Time will come, please God, and it will be the 50th. What's going to happen? On the 50th night, please God, some old bishop will come down and plant another root. You then will be in your 30s. Your little boys and girls will be in P1 and P2. You'll take out the photographs that were taken at the oak tree tonight. You'll show them to them. You'll say, "See, son, that's your mom and your dad." Maybe you haven't picked her yet. Or maybe you picked him and you haven't told him yet. But the time will come, and you look and they say, "Thank you, Dad." And please God, you'll be proud. You'll be proud of another 25 years, of the richness of tradition, of the lovely friendliness that I associate with your school from the time. You will have grown, and by that stage, some of the people who are here from the 25 years ago will be beginning to pretend that they're a bit younger than they actually will be. But they'll not get away with it because everybody will say, but you were at the secretary. When we grow, we're strong. And one last thing, comes to grow. You see my big stick, my crook, staff or crook, call it crook. I've only 5 feet the size of it. There's an hourglass cabin where I went to work as a newly ordained priest. Not too far from where you're working yourself, and similar kind of place. All very similar. And there's something lovely about one's working family. So a little hourglass cabin. A cold-rain salmon, as Father Francis knows well, needed Balmonic and I was a neighbour in territory. A cold-rain salmon to remind me of where I was working at the decision. A fir tree in family graveyard. A little St. Bridget's cross on my heart. And the last one is a great big oak tree. And that oak tree is on it for a very special reason. Because it asked the man who designed it for me. I would love something on my project, on my staff, my group. I would love something on it that would remind me of young people growing strong in contribution. So, Derrymore. Big one. She's gone. You will grow. Please God, that richness and the pride and education that your parents are handing on to you and your teachers, thank you for the work that you've done, not just now, but all of the teachers in the days of the Lord. And that growth, please God, will continue for many years to come. So, remember the next day to increase wisdom, stature, favor with God. Follow the way that Jesus himself. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I will stand and agree with God my heart and our prayer today.
Pray for our friends and family who depart this life, and for all faith in God. We pray especially for our deceased priests, for the lady, all the lovely and cancelled brother. Pray for our husbands who buried in this Christmas joy, and for our deceased pastors. God heal us.
sacrifice will be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father. Lord, we offer you a sacrifice of praise, all you have given us. Even though we are unworthy of your love, may we always use your many gifts to bring glory to your name. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Lord, be with you. Lift up your hearts. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. God our Father, you brought us here together. We can give you thanks for all the wonderful things you have done to Marys in the past 25 years. We thank you for all that you have put in the world and the happiness you have given us. We praise you for daylight, your word lights up our lives. We praise you for the earth, for all the people who live on it, and for our life which comes from you. We know that you are good, you love us, you do great things for us, so we all sing together. Yes, Lord, you are holy. You're kind to us, to everyone. This we thank you. We thank you of all for your Son, Jesus Christ. You sent him into this world because people are turned away from you and no longer love each other. We open our eyes and our hearts to understand we are brothers and sisters and that you are Father of us all. You now brings us together at one table and asks us to do what we do. Father, we ask you to bless these gifts of bread and wine, make them holy, change them for us, the body and blood of Jesus Christ, your Son. On the night before he died for us, he had supper for the last time with his disciples. He took bread and gave you thanks. He broke the bread, gave you his bread, saying, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you." The same way, he took the cup of wine. He gave you thanks, handed the cup to his disciples, saying, "Take this, all of you, and drink it. This is the cup of my blood. The blood of the new and everlasting covenant, to be shed for you and for all, who have sins ready for you. Please again, do this in memory of me." God our Father, you remember with joy all that Jesus did to save us. And this holy sacrifice which he gave as a gift to his church, we remember his death and resurrection. Father in heaven, accept us together with your beloved Son. He will indeed die for us, but you raised him to life. Thank you, and we say, glory to God in the highest. Jesus now lives with you in glory, but he's also here on earth among us. Thank you, and we say, glory to God in the highest. One day he will come in glory, and in his kingdom will be no more suffering, no more tears, no more sadness. We thank you, and we say, glory to God in the highest. Father in heaven, you've called us to receive the body and blood of Christ at this table, to be filled with the joy of the Holy Spirit. Through this sacred meal, give us strength to keep you more and more. Lord our God, remember John Paul our Pope, Patrick our Bishop, Michael and me, your Lord, servants, assistants, all other bishops. Help all who follow Jesus to work for peace, to bring bring happiness to others. Bring us all at last, together with Mary, Mother of God, all the saints, to live with you and be one with Christ in heaven.
Through him, with him, in him, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor is yours, Almighty Father, forever and ever.
Conscious of the way that generations spill over on other generations. We remind ourselves at this point, in the presence of the eternal Father, generation gaps disappear. We're all brothers and sisters in the presence of our Father. Pray now to the Father, the very words that He Himself taught. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Look not on our sins, but on the faith of your church. Grant us peace, unity of your kingdom, where you live forever and ever. Amen. Peace, the Lord, be with you all. In the school, show its Christian values and standards by spreading Christ's peace for generations to come. Let's exchange each other silent. Let us pray. God our Father, in this spiritual food, you've given back to us the sacrifice we offer you in thanksgiving, the saving sacrament of Christ your Son. For these gifts of strength and joy, sustain us in your service, bring us your gift of eternal life, and this through Christ our Lord. For the final lesson, God, I'd just like to thank all who helped in any way in the preparation of this message. We hear a special prayer now. Prayer of thanks. Is that right? What you said was our final, will be our final message. We're getting positioned there for a final message. Just like to thank all the fellows anyway. For inviting us to celebrate this Mass. Have to offer guests thank you for the invitation here this evening. Thank you, Father Riley, for your hospitality here this evening. And thanks to our very own liturgical audio-visual aid of the Holland School. Thank you for your presence and joining us this evening. Other evening, and others who would like to be here this evening who could not be present. Thanks in a very special way to past pupils of the school who have returned here to celebrate this occasion. Your presence means everything here. You are, in a sense, a reminder, because so often when you're in class, when you're in the teaching profession, so often you see young people going along until they fall off the conveyor belt of mistake. It's lovely to see you reminding us of the continuity and, of course, the importance of our education. So, I've chosen for our final lesson of the Mass. The Mass is a lesson for beginning of the new year, which looks to the future. The Lord be with you. Every good gift comes from the Father of light. May He grant you His grace and every blessing, keep you safe for many years to come. May He grant you unwavering faith, constant hope, and love that endures to the end. May He order your days and work in His peace, hear your every prayer, and lead you to everlasting life and joy. May Almighty God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts, which of thy bounty we are about to receive, through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
My Lord Bishop, Reverend Fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our 25th anniversary would be incomplete without a few words from a few people, and I promise you that there will be few. So I would now call upon Bishop Farquhar, Auxiliary.
Thank you very much. Words will be very, having said most of what I wanted to say. I was tempted to go round the tables and say, hands up what your favourite subject was. But I would just like to say thank you very much for inviting me and giving me the privilege of being present at this occasion. I have lovely memories of the parish visitation in Ahagalan. No disrespect at all to the present parish priest, but I know you all know how particularly Father Raymond Fitzpatrick was a very close personal friend of mine. We holidayed together for many years, our fathers worked together and our families knew each other from childhood. So I have lovely memories of that visitation. One of the memories has been, in a sense, was the lovely way that the whole parish community gathered together as family. And it just struck me, even this evening, that for a school that is, and I don't mean this disrespectfully or to minimise 25 years, but for a school that is only 25 years in existence, what struck me was the very wide age group of the people who obviously care about the school, the age range of the people who care about the school and who want to come along both to the chapel, to Mass, and here this evening to support this occasion. And there's a lovely sense, I think, of extended family in this parish, and it's quite obvious that the pride in the school and in the very young children isn't just a parental pride. It's obviously much wider than that. It's a parochial pride, and it's a pride that spreads across, dare I say, a very wide age range. So I would just like to wish God's blessing on all of you, to thank you for the support and encouragement that you obviously are giving in so many ways to the staff in the school, and the support that you've given and the encouragement you've given by your presence here this evening. So every blessing to all of you, to those of you who've got a special little child in the school, a special blessing to you. But to all of you, thanks for making the school in a very real sense a very big part of the parish family. God bless you and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bishop Tony, for those kind words, and thank you also for planting a red oak in the school and garden this evening in Derrymore. And as you all know, Derrymore means big oak wood, but sadly there are very few oaks left today. But by the time St. Mary's reaches its golden jubilee, that oak should be sprouting acorns. and I hope that those of you who will be around in those days will pick them up and look back with pleasure on our Silver Jubilee. Father Riley is the chairman of the Board of Governors, and in that capacity I would ask him to say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, to have the board, I want to welcome and thank our various listening guests. I'm not going to mention them all by name, for sure you leave out someone. But to have them from the Ministry, the Department, and the Library Board, CCMS, I don't know exactly where they're all stationed, whether in Hollywood or top of the Armour Road. All very welcome, and we're glad to have them here this evening. School is an essential element in any community. We in our Down Parish fortunate in the schools we have. Both young schools, vibrant. And so Board of Governors want to support the staff in the present school. A school that can prepare, irrespective of its size, of any school in the country. I can assure you the support from the Board of Governors in the pursuit of their own aims and ambitions, and to thank them for inviting me personally, coming along this evening. I wish them every success and every blessing in their future life, in the years to come. It's your children, your future. The future of all of us that rests in that school. That's what school is. The parish without school soon dies. Thank God, most die more dying rather than late. I congratulate them all for what has been done and has been done. I'm confident it will continue to be done in the future. Wish them every blessing and every success in the years to come. God bless.
Father Riley, you said you would say a few words, and that's more than a few. Thank you very much. I have known the next speaker for some time, and I have relied on his advice and guidance in the past, and I know I can count on his continued support. John Colgan is the Education Officer with CCMS. And John, right, please.
Well, good evening, everyone, and again, thank you very much, as Father Riley said, for his invitation. We thank you, my wife and I, for the invitation to come this evening. It's a particularly, I think, for the Council for Catholic Maintained Schools, we're always very conscious of the whole partnership in education, where the church, the family, and the school are all coming together. And I think that is very evident here this evening, the whole sense of community, and the whole family of community that is represented here this evening. And that's very gratifying, particularly for the staff of the school. I have known Mrs. Falloon for many years. Her reputation, I have to tell you, goes much further than Derrymore. She's certainly a lady who has earned a very high reputation in the whole teaching community and the teaching fraternity. I think the Bishop, I think, was very good today with his whole knowledge of the curriculum, but he did let himself down a bit when he said nature study. He did date himself on that one. So I'll have to take him aside later and update him on the new terminology. Even you parents will know nature study is not mentioned anymore in the school. Can I congratulate the staff? A school is only as good as the staff who are in it and the Board of Governors who are behind it. We spent today, it so happened the Bishop and I spent a full day today in our headquarters looking at the whole management of schools and the involvement of boards of governors in the schools. something we promote very strongly. And you know now that the boards of governors have a statutory responsibility for all the policy making in the school. And I have no doubt the board of governors of this school must be very actively involved in all that is happening in their school to ensure that such a very fine education and quality of education is provided for your children. And on behalf of CCMS, I would thank you very much for that, thank the staff very much for that, and thank you, the parents, for your involvement in it. I understand from the teachers in the school that schooling doesn't finish at 3 or half 3 in the evening. Not only are the parents involved in the whole understanding of the curriculum and how they can be involved to help their children, but there are evening classes, I understand, in basket making and fine arts, a reader's writing group, and the principal has asked me to advertise it tonight and say they could do with some more recruits. And that is all the whole wider extension of the community. And I think that is great and very encouraging. And I would thank Mrs. Balloon, thank the staff, and also be very mindful of the former principals and vice principals. I'm aware of the late Miss McCune, Mrs. McCavanagh, Imelda herself, vice principals like Mrs. Freeman, Patricia Moore, whom I know and who's here tonight and who has gone to much higher things. So the school has not only done well for your own children, but also for the staff. And Frank McCurry, who's here as well, you'll have to watch as well that he doesn't follow Patricia Moore's footsteps as well. So to you all, I would say thank you very much indeed, and I too, like the two former speakers, would wish you well, very much good wishes on behalf of our council and behalf of the teaching fraternity generally, another 25 years of good success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. With education officers of your calibre, the standard of education should be maintained in maintained schools. Mr. Bernison is the Staff Inspector of the Department of Education in Northern Ireland, and over the years the role of Her Majesty's Inspectors has changed from that of an advisory capacity to an inspectorial one. Nevertheless, Mr. Bernison has guided the staff of St Mary's through the changing Northern Ireland curriculum. So I'd like to ask him to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Imelda. Could I say first of all that Joan, my wife, and myself are very pleased and honoured to be here this evening. Whenever I agreed to say a few words, I thought it might be the Board of Governors, the teachers and former teachers and a few representatives. I didn't realise that there would be almost 200 people here eating until 11 o'clock at night and ready to go to sleep. So I wasted my time going through all the reports that have been written on the school to regale you with all the good things that have been said about the school in the past. But I did in fact go back through the 4 reports that have been written on the school in the past 25 years. And there are themes that come through all of those reports concerning the good quality of the leadership in the schools, the contribution of the teachers in the school, the quality of the relationships in the school between the teachers and the pupils and amongst the pupils, and the happy atmosphere that has been created in the school. Now, I wrote the last report, and if anyone wants to complain about it, see me after, but I don't think there's anything to complain about it. And I find it a pleasure to write the last report, a very detailed report, and I think we finished up by saying something like, this is a good school that serves its community well. And in saying that, I wasn't thinking only of the principal and her teachers, but I was thinking of the children, and could I say, I meant to say this at the beginning, I think the 2 children who had the courage to stand up in church tonight and sing deserve a round of applause. My congratulations to them. It is not easy to stand up in front of several hundred people and do that. And that is a little evidence of what the school has done for the children. So there are those themes going through and the happiness of the school. And it has been the principals, the vice principals, the teachers, working together with the parents and the members of the community and the Board of Governors and the clergy from the local churches. All of them, I think, have worked tremendously in the last 25 years to produce a school of which they ought to be proud, and parents should be dead keen to get their children into. And I would offer, Imelda, you my happy birthday greetings on 25 years to you and the staff, the Board of Governors and all the children in the school. Congratulations.
Inspectors use few superlatives. Mr. Burnison tells me they usually find standards satisfactory or unsatisfactory. I hope tonight, Mr. Burnison, there are no prefixes in your little notes there. I hope you find everything to be satisfactory. Mr. Jerry Kelly, the Chief Officer at Southern Education and Library Board, has sent us apologies verbally and in writing, but he has sent a worthy representative in the person of Colin Barton, Advisor in Environment and Society. I would like Colin to say a few words.
Lord Bishop, Father Riley, Father Mulholland, Imelda and your colleagues, fellow guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to be here tonight, and in addition to Imelda mentioning Mr. Kelly's apology, can I add also an apology from Mr. Oakes and his wife, who should have been here tonight but are unable to come, and I'm pleased, along with my wife, to be here to take his place. I also add to Mr. Kelly's congratulations and good wishes to you and your school, those congratulations and good wishes of Mrs. McClenaghan as well. She asked to be associated with tonight's event. When I try to think what I might say in relation to Derrymore, perhaps the easiest thing I can do is tell you how Derrymore came to me. And it came to me in sort of stages, if you like. My first contact, I think, with the school was a telephone call which was answered by one of the pupils. And I'm sure that child is probably in sixth form somewhere. But it was answered in a very friendly, confident, and certainly not in any kind of awkward fashion, and a very helpful fashion. That was my first contact with Derrymore, and I learned that that was Derrymore. If you like, that small contact that grew from that. And I appeared at the door, I think it was lunchtime at one time in Melbourne, and I was laden with boxes that people from the board usually are, or files or things. And someone again spotted my predicament. Some of the children, they didn't wait till I dropped them all. They opened the door and came out and met me and helped to carry them in and wanted to know who I was going to meet and made me welcome. Those relationships, those sort of contacts with strangers like myself, I think reflect the kind of relationships that exist pupil to pupil and teacher to pupil within that school, and they are tremendous. The second thing that hit me in Derrymore was, Bishop, if you forgive me, you mentioned nature study and John corrected you, but can I say perhaps maybe a few more phrases or clauses from some other parts of the scriptures might have been better for presenting the Northern Ireland curriculum in certain subjects, because I thought you did rather well tonight. That might have been easier understood and less jargonised. The second thing that hit me in Derrymore was the environment. And the walls were coming down with it, every possible space in the programme, you mentioned it, all children's work connected with all aspects of the environment, the physical, the cultural, the historical, you name it, it was there. Imelda, I probably, if you could have put it in the ceiling, maybe you did put it in the ceiling as well, but there's tremendous work done in the environment. Again, quality work done by the children. That was my second encounter. The this is a bit like an onion, you know, you peel off the layers. Then I got to the centre of the onion, and there I found the staff eventually after some time. And the first member of staff I came in contact with was Sharon Cooney, and I believe Sharon's busy tonight starting the next 25 years or making her investment for the next 25 years at Derrymore. And there I found the commitment of all the members of staff, tremendous commitment to what they were doing. And at the centre of that commitment, at the core of that commitment, was Imelda herself. A person that I find really an incredible figure, leading the school with vision, with drive, and with energy. And I would like, Imelda, sometime or other, could find out where you get the batteries, because I think there's a heck of a lot of people who would like to have those batteries. Someone has already referred to how well the school has served the community, but I would like to add another, or draw another dimension out of that community, and that is that in addition to serving its own particular community, Imelda and her staff are conscious of the other community as well. And I'm very pleased tonight to see Mr. Trevor Brown from Model School in Ireland present here tonight because of the partnership that exists between the two schools, and I'm delighted to see you here tonight as well. That partnership comes easy to Derrymore, to Imelda and her staff, and they're to be congratulated for that. I wish you continued success for the next 25, 50, 75, wherever it goes, and hopefully it'll go on forever. Derrymore is a tremendous school, and it ought to be, and I hope it's recognised by its community as that. Thank you all very much.
And just before we say thanks to you there, Colin, one of your remarks brought something else to mind. You do know we have a large collection of animals, which seems adverse to the fact that I'm a conservationist, but I can assure you they're all brought to me dead or dying. And I think it was Patricia Moore, when she was on the staff, used to say, if you stood around long enough in Derrymore, I'd get you to a taxidermist. Anyway, Colin, please convey my thanks to Mr. Kelly and all board members for their continued support in curriculum development, school maintenance, audiovisual, library services, and just about everything in connection with running a school. It takes a long time to get through, and the switchboard in Charleville Place for months through the services unequal, and I want you to note that for the Chief Officer, Mr. Colin Barton. The next speaker is the lady. And I see the three political parties are seeking more women at the top to their right. In the field of education, women are slowly an officer at Craigavon. Carol Burrows, I'm getting switched over on here. Carol Burrows to my left, she's liaison officer at Craigavon Teachers Centre, where you always get a warm welcome when you visit, whether it's on curriculum matters or infographics or just a social visit. So Carol's going to say a few words.
Lord Bishop, Reverend Father, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose you're wishing actually that this thing would go kaplunk and I wouldn't be able to say anything to you. You've been very patient sitting through all those speeches, and the last word always has to go to a woman, as I think you'll all agree. But I am absolutely delighted to be with you tonight. I have known Imelda in the school now for the last 5 years since I've been associated with the Teachers Centre. I, like Colin, set out to find Derrymore, thinking I was going to find some little tiny school with a little coal stove in the corner and the shores of Loch Ness. What did I find but a beautiful school, lovely environment, staff who knew everything about the curriculum, much more than I did. And whereas you might think Derrymore is quite remote geographically and physically, believe me, it is like the centre of the universe as far as knowing what's happening in education and plugging into every single initiative that comes along. They are there ahead of the field, well down the road to supplying and supporting the needs of all their children. I've been associated with this is my second 25th this year, because I celebrated my own silver wedding this year, so I'm delighted to be able to come and say very happy 25 years. And I believe that, and you must too, from all the tributes that have been paid to the staff, to the teachers, to the boards of governors, to CCMS, and all the other people associated with the school, that you have here a very, very special school. And believe me, it's a privilege for me to come along this evening and to be part of your praise and your celebration. Because I think there's a lot of things in education where we're all sort of letting the pressure get to us, and it's so nice to come along to a really happy occasion and join with the parents. And indeed, it's lovely to see some of the children here this evening, because sometimes I think in education we tend to forget about the children, but it's lovely to see the children participating. So thank you all very much for inviting me. I've enjoyed my meal, even though having to speak after the meal usually puts me off, but I managed every little last bit of it, including the pavlova, which nearly didn't arrive. Thank you very much once again. And Imelda, every time you come into the centre, we all leave just that little bit exhausted, but we're still very, very glad to see you all the same. Thank you very much.
You people sitting out there will be pleased to know that the last few words are mine. And for those of you old enough to go back in time, 1969 was a very special year. And Bishop on my left and Reverend Fathers, yes, the Holy Spirit is alive and about, because I remember a little about 1969 until a member of the Board of Governors brought me a lovely card, and it gives me all the special things that happened in 1969. Neil Armstrong was the first man to set foot on the moon. The 50p coin replaced the 10-shilling note. Concorde and Boeing 747's Jumbo made their first flight. Manchester City won the FA Cup. Rock Paris' Two Little Boys topped the charts. And I have strong memories of my own son and Kieran McGibbon singing that when they were in P1, Two Little Boys and Two Little Toys. Tony Jacklin, Bishop, won the British Open Golf Championship. Yes. And Robert Redford and Paul Newman starred in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Rupert Murdoch bought The Sun and turned it into the best-selling daily tabloid. The voting age was cut from 21 to 18, and you could make a local phone call for less than 1p. And St Mary's Derrymore opened its doors. Neil Armstrong took a giant step for mankind, and the new school was a giant step for the pupils, the teachers and the parents, and indeed the whole community of Derrymore. And 2 years in life is a long time, and 5 years is even longer. But put the 2 before the 5, and 25 years sounds very long. But for me, looking back over those years, it has been all too short. I have seen many changes from a one-room school with 96 pupils and no flush toilets to a nice new modern building. We've moved from the Antrim Education Authority based at Galvon Road, Ballymena, to the Southern Borderland. We've moved from Lisburn Swimming Pool to Lurgan Swimming Pool. And even though the school is in County Antrim and in the Diocese of Down and Connor, we are closer to Lurgan, and many of our pupils transfer there. Our past pupils seem to have travelled and are working all over the world, from Italy to the Gaza Strip and from Japan to Australia. I surveyed them all for the 25th Anniversary School magazine, and the reminiscences had little to do with education, but more to do with outings, sports days and pink cake and custard. Many pupils have passed through the portals of St Mary's. The principal and staff have always remembered the uniqueness of each human being. The ethos of good education is the recognition of that quality. I have a few thanks. I need to thank the present staff and all the teachers I have worked with over the years and down to the present day. We still are working as a team, and the team effort, we achieve our goals. I would like to thank Bishop Walker, our chief concelebrant, and an anniversary booklet, and I think it's a book trouble. Here you are. And I would thank Father Riley and Father Patsy for celebrating. And in their absence, I thank the organist, the choir, and the soloists for providing that beautiful music this evening. And there's many more people I need to thank, but if you purchase the school magazine, which is on sale tonight, And if you take time to read my foreword, you will find you have all been included. And please buy it, you'll enjoy reading it. It's got past articles, articles from past pupils and present pupils, and if you do so, you'll help us defray our expenses. I'd like to thank you people for coming here tonight, and without you there would be no celebration. Finally, Mr. Fallon's around. You have Mr. Fallon there? Fallon, the manager. Silverwood and Mr. Flatlin, I would like to thank you as manager of the Silverwood and your staff for your courtesy and civility in helping to organise this function, I think. Have your seats moved, and I'm going to thank them and introduce them all in one go. And the first item is from the McGinn School of Dancing under the direction of Mrs. Una McDade. Most of the dancers are past pupils and parish folk, and the leader is Miss Una Hammond. Many of them are past pupils, I think, there. And we have the Crown of Pipers with their tutor, Jim McDonald, I think they're all past pupils. And we finished the evening with the two Macs. I know Sean McMurray is one of the two Macs. I don't know who they are. But enjoy the rest of the evening.
doing what we call the rooms this time, and then we'll finish off with the round of the spring. I'm answering two at a time, something dug up and down.
Breeze just makes it colder. She's an hour away from writing all your prayers in this time. And days on the road burning out. The fire stops burning and it's the light your eyes each step on. Days of love,
In 1969, I became an assistant teacher here, and 25 years later, I'm a principal. I became a principal in 1978, and in those days the school was organised and managed under Rob Butler's 1947 Education Act, and along came Education Reform Order 1989, and generally speaking it was too much too soon. But fortunately in Derrymore there was in existence a broad curriculum on which to build. On the positive side, it compelled the principal and staff to review the teaching and learning experiences within the school and to begin to plan collaboratively. And curriculum review is still ongoing. And we have many resources to deliver the Northern Ireland curriculum, but sadly there are glaring deficiencies in the accommodation. It has been identified as the equivalent of 3 mobiles. I hope for the future of education in Derrymore this shortfall will be met soon.
I'm delighted to be back here today and to celebrate the 25 years. It's really wonderful. When I look back to 1969, it was a wonderful year, the opening of the school here, which we opened under difficulties in those days. And they really wanted to have a central school at Argyle. And in 1969, Tessie was principal, and then Sally after that, and then Mint. And it's been, I've had wonderful colleagues, wonderful time. Everything went very well throughout the whole years. And Mel has done a wonderful job. All the projects she has done. And the rest of the staff combined. And she has good help with her staff.
What are the main changes you've seen in this school?
Well, the main changes is the relaxation among the children. The children they're able to talk now, they're able to converse, they're able, there's wonderful freedom of the children. In those days it was all discipline. Children were nearly afraid to speak, except some of us teachers really who were relaxed. And when I came from St. Patrick's High in Banbridge, I realised the necessity for more dialogue with the children.
I started Marys Derrymore School in 1986 to 1993. I found that my time at St. Marys has helped me a lot when I went to St. Marys Junior High School, the school which I'm at now. The subjects which I felt helped me were science and technology, and maths and Irish and French. The Irish and French I found helped me because I had learnt some of the words here which I knew I would have to learn in my next school. My maths had helped me because the teacher which I had here had taught secondary school maths, so I knew most of the stuff which I would be learning. Also my science and technology helped me because the subject which I have just finished in St. Marys now, I knew most of the stuff which I was doing because I had already done that subject here.
Great.
I've had an involvement with the school here, with St. Mary's Derrymore, right from the beginning. In 1969, when the school opened, I had 2 children, transferred from the old Frankenstein school, and from that, for the next 24 years, we had an unbroken run of children at the school. Later on in the early 1970s, I became involved with the school management committee. The committee was responsible for the 2 schools of the parish, St. Mary's Derrymore, St. Patrick's at Derrymore. I think during my time we had no less than 3 principals appointed and quite a number of assistant teachers. Looking at it, I was responsible or involved, should I say, with the appointment of 3 of the present teachers in the school here. Mrs. Falloon, the principal, Miss Riley, and your vice principal, Mr. McCorry. Although I wasn't directly involved with his appointment to this school, but I was there when he was appointed to his first, and accidentally his first teaching appointment, and his first appointment in the parish at the Galligallen School. And I think looking back, as I said, at those appointments and their achievements and the fact that they're still with us, I think were very sensible, very wise appointments. Taken as a parent, I did say that we had children out of school for 24 out of the 25 years that we've been sort of talking about. And, you know, I always got a lot of satisfaction when I came to the school on any occasions as a parent. And I think there was a great sort of family atmosphere. You felt that you were important, like the staff, the teachers and the staff made you feel important as a parent, and you had a role with the running of the school.
1969, and I came along in May 1970. 3 weeks before the school meal started, I was in hammer and tongs trying to get things cleaned up, and there was a lot of hard work put into getting the kitchen into rotation before we started preparing the meals. I'm still cooking, and there's been a lot of changes in those 25 years. The emphasis was on healthy eating all along, but the children never thought it went out the window really, and it still amazes me to this day how they can come up and have their lunch and have their hands, a packet of crisps in one hand and maybe a minute, and they can go down and scoff the whole lot off the table.
Thank you very much.
Right, 4 and 5, and you're welcome.